Well, hello there. Stephanie Stevenson here. I am known as watercolor artiste in online circles, and I am the artist of midlifeartist.com. And welcome to my live stream. I appreciate you being here. I live streamed last night and had some more technical difficulties. I made some adjustments tonight or today in the hopes that I reduce that down. I updated my OBS software because apparently it hadn't been updated. I updated some other things and then I keyed some things down. So hopefully we will be okay tonight. In any case, I am glad you're here. I wanted to say that I am trying. Oops, hold on there. I don't need that going. I'm going to turn this down, turn this over. There we go. But in any case, I am starting a new canvas today. I just decided I was staring at blank canvases for far too long. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just go at it. I have an idea of what I want to do. It's one of the many ideas that I've had going forward. And so I just thought I'd just get started no matter what. So in any case, I'm just checking to see if everyone is online. If you see me and can hear me and are in chat, please give me a thumbs up. I do have some chat features open, but not all of them, I don't think. But in any case, let's see here. Test. Please tell me it's working. Okay. Ah, great. You can see me on YouTube. Great. Very good. And Rumble should be going. Very good. All right. Just making sure that auto activate. Let's see if that works. If you're on Rumble, give me a thumbs up. Maybe because I'm just trying to make sure everything's working. Well, shoot. All right. Well, if you're on Rumble, please give me a thumbs up when you can, because it doesn't seem like I'm seeing much of anything. Of course, maybe if Ron gets on, he can test it out for me. Any case, thank you for joining. I am kind of discombobulated this week. That's okay, Lisa. You can stay in YouTube. That's fine. Let's just see. In any case, I'm going to, I'm just checking everything to make sure it's all working right. Ah, sound is fine. Can you see me? Sometimes the Stream Ninja thing doesn't quite work. Activate source. All right. Okay, good. Let's see. I'm just trying to make sure everything else works. All right, so I'm seeing YouTube on the social stream, but I'm not seeing the Rumble. I'm not sure why that is. All right, well, I'm not going to worry about it. If I miss your chat, I'm sorry. I'm going to trigger one more fake message. Yeah, that's a fake message. Okay. It's coming through on YouTube. All right. Okay, so I'll keep my Rumble stream chat up elsewhere. What the heck? Is it out? Pop out chat. How many of these do I have? I got too many of these. All right. One more time for the Gipper, and then I'm moving on, whether it works or not. Okay. Because it is what it is, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. So I'm moving on. So news and events. If you're on Rumble, I do have customized emotes that I created the other night out of my artwork. So when you go to do a emote, like a smiley face or whatever, these should show up. The one on the left is my toast to summer, which is like a cheers or, hear, in agreement or whatever. The one next to it is my embrace charcoal drawing. So when you want to share a hug or give a hug, use that one. Then next to that is my white rose. That's for all things beautiful. The one next to that is a pen and ink done in digital that is showing me working at my art station from behind. So that's like woman at work or getting to work or whatever. And then the planetary one is out of this world. So you want to say something like that. And then the one next to that is me frustrated. So frustrated or angry. I used that one last night when my live stream screwed up. Next to that is Groot yelling. So that's another angry emote that says, I am Groot, And then the one next to that is my most recent painting of the American flag that I call America the Beautiful. Yeah, if you're on Rumble, feel free to use those. And I don't think all the issues are me. I think sometimes it's Rumble. I watch some other podcasts during the day in the background, and sometimes I have to refresh that too. So as much as I love Rumble, I think sometimes it has technical difficulties. I don't think it's all me. So in any case, try one of my emotes, Crazy Bear. But yeah, so in addition to that, I am trying to maintain Rumble Creator Program status, but I'm not sure how that's going to go for the month of July. So we'll see how that goes. I'll talk about that later. And then I am going to, this week, get my application into the Creative Arts Guild Arts Fest. That's going to be happening in September. You got to apply before the end of this month for the juried process, as well as if you want to do a tent. Those are two different processes for the same event, where the juried process is for the exhibition that goes for about a month and a half. And so, yeah, I'm going to be putting that in finally this month. And see what happens with that one. It's been too hot to go to the Dalton Farmers Market. So I haven't been able to set up there to sell prints, which is a bummer because I need to sell prints. It is what it is. I'm not going to put my health at risk in some of the severe heat that we've had. If the weather looks good for this coming Saturday, I may go ahead and give it a go. I think we have a slight reprieve, but I think the heat dome's coming back. I got to look at the forecast, so we'll see. So yeah, a lot of upheaval during my work days, a lot of discombobulation at night. I'm feeling a little disconnected in all kinds of ways this week. So if I seem disconnected, it's because I am. I'm discombobulated. So yeah. Let's see here. That's it for news and events. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the TwoView cam, and I had the featured chat thing on there. Oh, okay, it's showing up now. Let's see if I. Okay, there it goes. It's working now. Yay! So buenos nachos. All right, very cool. Cool beans. All right, that's great. That's great. I'm happy now. I'm happy now. Yay! Okay, so let's see how this goes. Like I said, I am hopeful that I can get this done. So what I'm doing, this is a 24 by 30-inch canvas in obviously the portrait configuration. I am going to be working in oils tonight. I worked in acrylics last night, and I work on a different substrate that I'm used to, even with the acrylics. And I didn't necessarily like it because it felt weird in my hand. The paintbrushes did. If you look on my channel, if you didn't join in last night, which I'm kind of grateful for, um, you'll see on my channel that I have two different videos with the same thumbnail from last night. And that's because the first one started off and then my OBS software just crashed in the middle of my live stream. And that was right after I got raided by another channel, which brought in more people and more chatters and things like that. It was great. And then suddenly my OBS crashed. And then I had to restart it because I was only like 38 minutes in, and I hadn't really gotten underway really with my painting. And so I have to say I was a little perturbed, but at the same time, so I looked up today on, a search engine. I said, so why is my OBS crashing? And I read through, and they said, you got to update the drivers and the software and all that stuff. And it does not automatically update, I have found out, unless, you launch it and it says, oh, would you like to update? And for some reason, I did not update in about a month. And with some of the plugins like the chat overlays, it may not play nice, you know. So yeah, I was a little perturbed last night, and so tonight I'm like, okay. So today I spent some time. I updated my OBS. I checked on my other stuff that I work with. I even looked at my computer and I said, how do I preserve resources on my laptop so that way I can utilize most of the resources for my live stream and prevent crashes. So let's see how this goes tonight. And if it crashes again tonight, I don't know what to do. And I'm not a computer expert, and I'll have to maybe talk to somebody that I'd have to pay, and I don't have that kind of cash. So it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Woohoo! Okay, so what am I painting? Well, I'm going to start off similar to how if you watched me with my Amazon painting back a couple of months ago, then you would know that I started off with a single color, very loose. I got to make sure my paper is down here. Very loose paint, very runny paint. And then I subtract out the drawing that I'm doing. So yeah, there we go. You see some of my emotes. They're very tiny, but they work. But anyway, I'm going to start off with a yellow ochre, what's this one? Burnt umber mixture of a medium tone. And I'm going to start just laying down the color very loosely. Probably not using I'm not using my biggest brush, but I'm afraid I'll get this solution all over my wood floors. So, but I need to probably get a little looser with this. So all I'm doing is laying down an underpainting color of yellow ochre and burnt umber mixture in a medium tone. I think my house is very dry. It's not been as humid these past couple of days, and I think it's reflective on my paints. Like last night, my acrylics were especially dry, and I didn't like that because I was painting on gessoed watercolor paper last night. and it seemed to be just sucking the moisture right out of the paint. And acrylics dry fast as it is, but it just, as soon as I put the paint down, it was already like drying. And acrylic's not that fast. It is fast, but it's not that fast. And and it felt like I was scraping the paper with my paint brushes because it was so dry. And I'm like, no, this is not the way it's supposed to go. And it wasn't taking the paint like a canvas. The paper I was on, even though it was gessoed, was more smooth than these kinds of canvases I'm working on tonight. So yeah, definitely a different beast last night. And then of course the technical difficulties. So yeah, I was working on a portrait of me and Crazy Bear in my watercolor hardbound sketchbook last night. It was one that I had started like 2 or 3 years ago and then stopped because I think I didn't like it then, how it felt, and I didn't know if I was doing it right. And so I just kind of walked away from it for other things. And I keep slipping out of my chair. So if you see me adjusting, it's because I'm slipping out of my chair. I'm not quite tall enough. I think I'm on tippy toes with my feet to keep me in place. I'm rolling around on this hardwood floor. Very easy to roll around on it because I don't have anything kind of stopping or providing resistance. What would Sheldon say on resistance? A coefficient of static friction and whatever. Sheldon from Big Bang Theory, that is. If you haven't watched that, I suggest you watch it. It's a funny show, actually. When it first came out as a Christian, I'm like, I'm not going to watch something called The Big Bang, but we've watched it, and it's become one of my favorites because it's so funny. It makes no one safe in that TV show, to tell you the truth. Everyone gets made fun of. Atheists, Christians, Hindus, Indians, Jewish, Catholic, you name it, everyone gets the treatment. So it's an equal opportunity comedy. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with equal opportunity comedy. So, how is everyone's week been going? You already heard about mine. Like I said, I'm discombobulated. I'm trying to get some of these brushworks kind of I'm using a smaller brush than I should be probably, but that's okay. This is just the underpainting. Everything's going to get painted over here anyway. I'm just trying to give me something fresh to start with. There, so there you see I've got the paint laid down, and now what I'm going to do is a subtraction method to draw in what I'm doing. And this is not going to be a very complicated composition. As I indicated in the title of my thumbnail, making sure I didn't get splashes everywhere, of my live stream, this is going to be a quick win. So what I'm doing, the mainstay, this is going to be let me explain. So this is going to be a rendering of Elijah, not Elisha, Elijah, where he challenges the prophets of Baal. And the fire comes down out of heaven and consumes the sacrifice, the altar, and the water all around it in front of the prophets of Baal. And so it's essentially the coming down of the pillar of fire from heaven. And then central to that will be Elijah in not profile, but silhouette. So that's kind of what I'm going to do with this. So Let's see here. Let me go back to my preview live stream. So, well, actually, what I'll do is I'll go to camcorder one. It's a little bigger, I think. So yeah, it was a short week for me. It's a short week for me too, because I took Monday off. Let's see, where do I want? I want my Elijah down here. I'm just kind of placing figures. He's going to be kind of a small figure, even though he's foreground. Um, but it's not, like I said, not going to be a complicated one, but it's going to be striking in color and lighting. Of course, you know me, I tend to go for um, the altars in those days were not clean cut. They were unhewn stone. If you study scripture, so if you ever see an altar rendering of Old Testament Hebrew altars and it looks like it's made out of hewn stone, that's not actually scripturally accurate. It's it's unhewn stone, and so there's an altar in front of him. Figures here. Okay, again, I'm just blocking him in. And like I said, the mainstay is going to be just the awesome power of fire coming out of heaven, and the smallness of not only the prophet of God, but the figures that are watching. I'm just doing indications of figures here on either side because I never understood why, why they didn't do a Hollywood movie on Elijah uh, calling down fire from heaven on the altar in front of the prophets of Baal. Because that would have been awesome to see, like sort of like the Ten Commandments movie. You know what I mean? So yeah. So yeah, so essentially what I'm doing here is I'm doing by subtraction a grisaille effect of the scene. And a grisaille is a artistic term that indicates a monochromatic painting of tonality, of tonal values. And so you lay that down ahead of the colored painting. Now, see, I don't want. I know that it's technically trying to make sure that this is symmetrical, and that breaks the rules of composition in art, and so it's actually not quite symmetrical, and frankly, I don't care if it is or isn't. I gotta find. Aha. Am I missing any? Give me some thumbs up that in the chat there, if you're still there and stuff, because I just want to make sure that everything's working. Because I'm not keeping as close an eye on the chat as I normally do. You can't really see that very well because of the glare of this light. Let me just see if I can for a second. Oh, there's glare on that too. All right. All right, come on now. Ah, ring light. There we go. For some reason my ring light wouldn't come on with the power button. And I refuse to have any more. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you. Now I'm just doing indications, and what I'm doing is I'm using a makeup foundation sponge, and I'm lifting off for the light areas of the fire coming down from heaven. So that way I'm pulling the paint off for those light areas. And then I'm going to come in with darker paint to highlight the darker areas. And the smoky, the nighttime, on the sides is going to be the dark clouds and skies. So I'm just kind of lifting this back off to indicate value in this fire. It's going to be very white here, and I'll try to. It's like the fire is just coming down and just consuming the sacrifice, and it's just all over the place. And so it looks like just a mess, but if you remember, that's kind of how it looked on my my Amazon when I was doing that. Let's see here. What I want to do is get some of the brightest. Do I have any? Let's see here. I'm going to try to get some of the solution on this. And I'm really going to kind of just lift off. Try to get those brightest brights indicated. So I'm not really, I'm drawing by subtraction. And it's actually, from what I understand, a way that the old masters used to do more frequently. They would put in a back painting. The brightest part of this is going to be right in front of Elijah, and he's going to be all in black. You're not going to really see him. He's going to be in silhouette relief. And so and then some of this is going to be lit up by maybe some stormy skies. And the skies themselves are going to be this almost sick bluish green of darkness, clouds, smoke. Very ominous, what it's going to be. And so I'm just kind of laying in some of these brighter areas. And then down here, there's going to be wetness where he's doused all around that altar. And so there's wetness because he doused it 3 times, if I remember correctly, before he called fire down from heaven. As part of that challenge. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some yellow ochre with, let me see if just doing yellow ochre to start is going to be a nice a darker medium to work with. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm just trying to do some tonal values. Again, in pretty much a monochromatic grisaille effect. And then once this dries, I'm going to come in with the color. And now, of course, this isn't going to dry in time for tonight for me to come in with color. So this will have to be another live stream. It may be my bonus content, or maybe for even next Wednesday. So yeah, it's going to look funky until I get some darks in there too. But so it's easy to doubt oneself in this particular process because it looks like a mess. You know, it doesn't look like anything. You know, but when you develop it with darks too, it'll start to kind of come to life, even in this early stage. And so you don't even have to be precise with your paintbrush. You can just get the hint of these types of things, the smoke, the fire, the grandness of what's happening here. Because hopefully, by the time I am done with this, it's going to be very much dynamic in terms of the lighting. So we'll see how this goes. So yeah, what I'm doing is I'm working in medium tones and light tones, and then it'll start to really sing, I think, when I start to bring in some of the darker tones. So yeah. Today, on a different note, my youngest son, who's usually in the chat with us, is actually moving into his new apartment today. It's been a month-long process for him to find an apartment, one in his price range. Thankfully, since last year, rent prices have come down some, but it's been a long road, and you know he had to wait a week to get in there because the old lease wasn't finished until today. And even though the apartment was essentially empty, the place wasn't going to let him move in early. So he's been couch surfing at a friend's place. And so he's moving in tonight. So that's why he's not here. Hey, Artisan, how are ya? Okay. So yeah, I'm like I said, I'm doing this all kind of by subtraction and addition, and I may have to subtract again out again when I do this. I'm using a lot of fluid. The I call it fluid, but it's the I dip my brushes in. So yeah. Oh, sweet. Very nice. Very nice. So yeah, it seems we're kind of uh, having a similar life happenings, aren't we, Ray? All right, what I need to get next is I have it right in front of me. Stephanie, pay attention. Yes, that's me yelling at myself because, I don't let my husband yell at me. He's working real hard on finishing his book so he can get that to the publisher and publish it out. Uh, but yeah, I think what I'm going to do is add a little bit of burnt umber to this, kind of get some more. Just keeping it to yellow ochre and burnt umber is what I'm doing. So some of this, and I'm kind of using the side of the brush here. I'm not doing brush strokes. I'm scumbling as it's called, and I've used that term and that methodology before. Scumbling. Oh, well, that'll be great. I'm looking forward to seeing what you put out there, Ray. Ray's going to be doing some more artwork. If you're an artist in the chat or watching online, especially if you're from our group, the Arts Collective on Truth Social, then I invite you to put your contact information in my comment section. And if you're a writer, you can do the same. Put your comment, your contact stuff in my comments. I like to share this platform with my fellow creatives, especially since most of my fellow creatives aren't currently live streaming on their own, but they are putting out videos. So if you're putting out videos for your stuff, then by all means, kind of put out your stuff in the comments section, not the chat, but the comments. So, aha! Your son, wow, boy, everyone's got kids moving. Okay, that's cool. And because this is wet, it's not going to get super dark. Like I said, I'm building up to the darks. Because on each side of this fireball column is dark, dark skies. So eventually I'm going to come in with dark skies on the left and the right. So yeah. Oh, it'd be nice if yours would move back to Georgia, both of them. That would be nice. We could see them again, Lisa. And it's just touches of dark spots in the centermost part of this. I'm trying to get a fire effect. Because fire goes every which way. And then the brightest part of this is down here. So I'm not going to get too much dark in there. I'd love it if my kids were able to move down here to be closer to me. That would be really good. Oh, and if you're a praying person, please keep my kids in prayer because they lost their fraternal grandmother this week or this past weekend. Um, she found herself suddenly in hospice because she wasn't taking good care of herself, and when faced with having both legs amputated, she said no. And after that, there wasn't much they could do for her. And so she chose to go out. And of course, my kids, they weren't super close to her, but still, their grandma. And so definitely keep them in prayer for their hearts. My former mother-in-law, and she and I had our own issues, but she was always good, at least while the kids were growing up, to my kids, and so yeah, it's sad, but she was getting up there. I'm not sure how old she was, but so yeah, my kids are having a hard time with that. So not only is my youngest moving, but he's having to kind of deal with how he lost his grandma. So I only grew up with one grandma, one grandparent, and she lived to the ripe old age of 94, if I'm not mistaken. So when she passed, my heart was truly broken. So I think you can get a sense of fire here, but I'm definitely going to bring in some of the dark on this side. Again, this is essentially a grisaille. It's a French term. I'm not sure how it translates from French to English, other than it's a monochromatic way of painting and underpainting before you bring in color. So yeah. If she was, I think she was not diagnosed that way. She had gotten gangrene in her legs. I don't know much because I didn't keep up with them. And she must not have decided it was worth dealing with until push came to shove, probably. And so and she ended up in the hospital, and then by then it was probably too late. That's what I'm guessing. But yeah. So yeah, like, it was all happened actually this weekend. Um, and this weekend was pretty momentous, right? We had the 250th for America. Ron and I had our 17th wedding anniversary on actual 4th of July. So we had that, and that happened to be the day that their grandma passed, was sometime on the 4th of July. So yeah, not exactly, you know, a great thing. And then my firstborn grandson was turning 1 on July 3rd. And so it just seems like all kinds of things happened this weekend, and some of it good, some of it not so good, unfortunately. So yeah. So yeah, I'm doing the dark skies here, and even still, this is not the darkest dark. Yeah, I get more of this burnt umber. And so this will hopefully dry fairly quickly. And if not, I got to wait till it does, so my colors don't get too muddy. But it's hard to see up here because of the glare of my light. I've been trying to adjust my ring light, but I think also my ceiling lights in here are a little much. When it comes to oils, though, it just is what it is. I think everyone kind of suffers with lighting, unless you got a professional setup, which I do not. I've got to probably flag it. This is the day I talk about how someday I'm probably going to have someone be my producer and do my videos for me and all that stuff, right? Isn't that speaking faith into your dreams? I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not missing anything here. Some of this is lighter clouds, but not super light. So if I do this side, you guys will kind of really see how the column here is going to take shape. And really all I'm doing is a scumbling technique. Is everything turning out okay? I know, like last night, my second live stream on Rumble was sounding a little peaked. I don't know why. Again, like I said, some of it's not me. I think some of it's Rumble, I would have to say. And it's great to be able to kind of do this kind of painting with no hard and fast fine lines. You can just really scumble it in and get things kind of placed. And it's wet enough that you can readjust if you need to. I think it really worked well when I did it for my Amazon painting. So yeah. Yeah. I do think we have to, I think sometimes, and scripture kind of talks about this, if you're, if you've read into scripture, that there's power in our words. Now, is there always power in our words to it? Like if you say to this mountain, be moved, and it's going to move. I don't think it's talking so much about that so much as it's talking about, so long as you're in God's will, that you could potentially speak life and success into your life. But you have to be in God's will. Otherwise, don't be surprised when it doesn't happen. But yeah. No Barry White going on. you know, that's funny. I'll have to go back and listen to the the replay. Speaking of which, I'm doing a lot of that to get my Rumble Creator Program views. I have to get like 500 view hours, and that means 500 hours of people viewing my videos for the month of July. And that seems to be probably one of my steepest climbs for the month. I get some of this is a little lighter, but not as light. Over here too. But yeah, I have to get 500 hours of watch hours on my videos for the month of July in order to be able to stay in the Rumble Creator Program for August. That's the steepest climb. The other climb is the other one that's going to be tough for me to hit unless I get a lot of raids this month. And last night I got a great raid, but then OBS crashed. But I need to have 75 unique chatters. But you know what? Everyone hears this and says, "Oh my gosh!" I'm a small channel, so my ability to do it's kind of hampered until I can grow some more. And so that's why I think maybe I bit off more than I can chew. But you don't know until you try, and so I'm trying. So if I don't make it, then I'm gonna wait a couple months and try to keep growing organically for sure in my channel and try again. But when I look at Rumble's requirements for getting money out of the situation versus YouTube's, let's say. I looked at YouTube. I guess it used to be 1,000 subscribers before you could, start making any money. And now it's 500. And you know how many I got on YouTube? 53. So I can't really concentrate on YouTube per se because there's no way for me to beat those algorithms, and I'm just too small. I have to just let it go, and if it happens to catch on, great. But yeah, boy, that's not coming across very well. So let's see if I can't. And again, this is all of this is wet, oil paint. And so I'm not going to get super dark. A lot of this is going to blend. It's going to look like more of a mess than anything else, but it's laying the work in for the lights and darks that I want. And then down here on the sides, it's really dark. I might as well just lay this whole tube out, what I have left anyway. But yeah, so a lot happened this past weekend, and it's both good and bad. And so I felt it a little bit this weekend, where, my kids were suffering with the loss of a grandma, and then the other family members are grieving, and so yeah, and they're all up in New England, so it's not like I can be up there for them and help them or whatever. And they may not want my help because they're former in-laws. I need to get Galkid for some of this darker color. I'm getting, excuse me, excuse me, sorry, getting some Galkid to help dry this faster when it comes time. This is uneven ground here. Oh, sweet. You have to send me the link to that. I pretty much, I know how to keep my acrylics wet on a palette, because I've got one of those wet palettes. I chose not to use it last night. Instead of just sprayed my acrylics down. But in terms of keeping acrylics at least wet enough to work with on that paper last night, that is what I need to probably need to look for. But yeah, I'm getting the dark ground here. But yeah, I think Hollywood missed it when they didn't do a movie about Elijah calling fire down from heaven. But maybe that's just too scary for Hollywood. Considering the prophets of Baal and Jezebel and all that stuff, probably hits too close to home. Did I say that out loud? Oops. I'm actually using two different references to kind of, I'm approximating my image from two different references here. Oh, there's my Elijah figure here. Oh, okay. I'll definitely, yeah, send me the link then. That'd be great. Appreciate that. And there's some figures, prophets of Baal. I'm just doing indications of people here. I'll get more detail when it comes time to do that. Remember, the altar is made up of unhewn stones, not hewn. So there's no straight edges in scriptural when it comes to the altar to the Lord. There are no straight edges. No human hand is supposed to carve the stones for an altar. That was not part of God's command to the Israelites. So if you ever see an image that's based on that type of stuff, then you need to know that it's scripturally accurate if the stones are not hewn. Okay, let's see here. How's writing going, Lisa? Are you still on? Is writing going good? I know, I don't think, if you got the link to the YouTube, I watched it on YouTube, but your interview that you had, Lisa, as a writer, if you got a link to that, put that in the comments, because I think people would enjoy watching your interview as an author with the Once Upon a something podcast. I don't know if she's on. But yeah, she got interviewed, and she did a great job. So it'd be nice to support her in that. Share it out. Once Upon a Hot Take. That's it. That's the one. They seem to be pretty popular on Instagram. Once Upon a Hot Take. But yeah, if you look them up, I don't think they're on Rumble, but I do think they're on. They are on YouTube because I watched the interview on YouTube. But but yeah, definitely take a peek at that. You can. It's not long. It's her interview because it's multiple authors were getting interviewed in that podcast. And I think she's roughly around minute 36. Minute 36, if I'm not mistaken. And it goes for maybe, what, 20 minutes? Something like that. I think this really is coming across here as a fire. Hiya! I think what I really want to accomplish with this painting is not a complicated composition per se. I'm kind of looking to really capture the awesomeness of the power of God. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of where I'm going with this, is I want to capture just how powerful this is. And I'm just kind of touching the here and there. I think I have too many horizontal pushes, so now I'm kind of going up. I think that helps. There we go. So yeah, because the column of fire and the power of it and the brightness of it uh, against such a dark sky with some of the clouds in the sky being lit up, I think will help contrast what I'm trying to do here, and it would give a sense of wonder and awe at the power being rendered here. That's kind of what I'm going for. I'm making sure my thing is scrolling as it needs to, in case I'm trying to keep an eye on my chat screen just in case. Like I said, I had kind of a little bit more dynamic chat going on last night, and like I said, my OBS kind of died. So I am I'm very, very much a little bit more toned down tonight. Not doing as much with that. But still got it. I still got it, just not as dynamic. I just don't have down here. I need more dark. So did anyone watch the 4th of July fireworks over DC? I didn't watch it when it was happening live because I think I was in bed by then. I don't know. I usually stay up late, but I watched it the next morning. So sometimes when you're captured by your four-legged animal in a recliner, you're just going to have to decide what to do, either recliner art or what. There, that's really kind of coming along there. This is dark. It was definitely amazing. The amount of fireworks they used, I can't imagine. I mean, I love fireworks. Don't get me wrong, but if it got too smoky, I've got I got lungs that would get a little irritated with all the smoke. I don't know if I would have been able to tolerate it. My lungs anyway. I don't know if it hung around in the air too low or something. It looks like it might have or could have, maybe not. I don't know. But I don't know if my lungs would have liked it. I do sometimes have sensitive lung to smoke, so I can't be around smokers too long. It really bothers my lungs. Uh, so let me just show you how this, shaping up. I know you can see it with the camcorder, but let's go to palette cam. Let's go to palette cam. Come on now. There it is. You didn't need to see my palette, did you? All right. So I'll show you kind of what it's looking like. Like I said, it's essentially blocking in, and again, it's hard to see it with the glare, so I have to back up a little bit. But you see what I'm saying? When the sides really get dark and the middle gets really bright, and it's really going to be a very sharp contrast of lights and darks with very few midtones. When I get it colored in, I'm definitely thinking it's going to really register. So again, it's yellow ochre and raw umber that I'm using in various shades. You can see how small I'm making Elijah. I want the people to be small in the face of an awesome God. You know what I'm saying? So, so yeah, put this here, see if I can't get this back on. Sorry guys, there we go. Let's see here. Yeah, you know, I think a lot of people don't really put any stock in media nowadays, and if they do, they're just fool. They're either lazy or ignorant or both. I do think people tend to get lazy, and this is not a time to be lazy in a political sense. There's too much at stake. You know, especially if you become a grandma. I mean, it's one thing if you're a parent and you got young kids and you need to be on top of things for your kids' sake. Because if you're not in charge of your kids, someone else is going to be in charge of your kids. So you know, it's important that people get engaged and get educated, and then not only that, but they need to then get activated for their own families, for their own communities. So yeah, I'm kind of doing an amalgamation of two reference images of the same event. I wasn't I wasn't quite happy with either one in totality, so I decided I'm going to take the best of both and try to. Again, this is all very very wet, so it's blending, and so the darkest darks are not going to get too dark. Oh, I'm sorry. I just realized I don't have it back to camcorder. There we go. It's all right. A caveman face and the clouds on the right. Did I just paint over that? I just saw that now. I was working over there. Is it right here? This part? Galkid. Galkid. Want this to do fast drying medium. You can see how I'm holding my brush right at the tippy end here, and a little too bright. This is a little too bright. Sometimes you gotta paint with your fingers. Sometimes you got to paint with your fingers. I do think we're making strides. I think they're taking out Charlie was strategic, and I don't even think that Tyler Robinson even realized he was doing it out of hate in his heart because he was being told that what his lifestyle was sinful, and it is. He didn't like hearing that, and so he did it just out of anger and hatred. But I don't know if he was making inroads in the hearts and minds of the youth in our country, especially at the college level, and that was just too dangerous. So his weapon was the mic, and that tells you how powerful the microphone can be. And that's why it's hard to step in his shoes, because you have to be patient with those that would scream in your face. And I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I could be that patient. Charlie was made of some amazing stuff, and he was in it to win it for the youth of America. And I know that there are other conservatives out there that are on behalf of TPUSA, Turning Point USA, are kind of stepping up to the mic to help do the work that Charlie did, but they're not getting the same traction, at least not yet. And it's up to all of us to make sure that that message gets out, that his death is not in vain. He touched so many hearts and minds of the youth. You know what I mean? And so it was bittersweet to be celebrating America's 250th without Charlie. It really was. It's funny, I'm just touching paint all over the place, but an image has come out, which is good. And but yeah, you know, it's weird. Back when I was still up in New Hampshire, my kids were young enough to start thinking about high school and then college and all that stuff. And it was always my parents' dream that I go to college, get my degree, and take care of myself as a woman so I didn't have to depend on a man, which I agree with to some extent. You know, you have to be able to take care of yourself, especially in this day and age. As a woman, you can't just depend on a guy to take care of you. There's too many guys being let off the hook, and they're willing to be let off the hook. Too many women are settling for that kind of lifestyle. So many single moms, and things like that. And it's like, so I understand why my parents made it a condition for me to get my college degree before I got married. And so thankfully, I don't have to worry about taking care of myself. I mean, right now, my income handles most everything. And then Ron's working to get his stuff taken off so he can get some income flowing in as well, and so we're working together. And that's important. But most people don't have the kind of relationship that Ron and I have. We just celebrated our 17th wedding anniversary. And if you didn't hear us before, we got married twice in the month of July, 17 years ago. The first was on July 4th. And then again on July 25th that year, because we had family coming up from Georgia. We were up in New England at the time getting married. So we got married up in New England. And so the family in Georgia couldn't travel up on the 4th of July. They had to come in later. And so we did another ceremony when they came up. Yeah, I like the soccer thing. I mean, I love that Europeans have come to the country and are enjoying America, that they're realizing that what they've been fed about America and Americans is a big fat, you know what, and that they're discovering that America is a great place, and it is. And anyone who says differently doesn't know what they're talking about. Well, what do you guys think? I got a good start on this. I got my tonal values going. Like I said, it's I don't know if I can turn this. There we go, so you can see it. There we go. Let's see here. Oh, no, 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 no. Somehow I got all kinds of liquid in this thing. Yeah, yeah, I do think that I think there's some real awakening happening in various communities, and I think that ultimately um, the culture war will definitely turn because people are going to see the difference in living. Now, I do think we need to make sure that we do enough for cost of living. I think there's still not enough being done. I think there's still industries taking full advantage of the cost of living increases. But I think um, to some extent it's still driven by the illegal immigration issue because the more illegal immigrants on the dole, the harder it is for Americans. And that's absolutely true. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I'm trying to get some of this to really make a little bit more sense. Yeah. So, oh, all right. So there you guys see it. I'm going to let that dry over the next couple of days. And then I'm going to start coming in with true color. I mixed up a whole bunch of color here that I like this yellow and stuff. I'm going to have to find a use for that. But yeah, so there we go. We've got to start on another painting. This is going to be one that's kind of similar to my light. Uh, oh shoot, my Psalm 10, 119, 105 painting. Um, that one went quick as well, and maybe because it's scriptural, I really, trying to accomplish more with an impact of light and dark than I am of correct composition or engaging composition. What's going to be engaging about this, hopefully when I'm done with it, is the look of raw power and the feeling it evokes in the viewer, like, oh my gosh, almost puts you front and center, but not quite. So, but yeah. And again, this is just essentially an underpainting that puts things in play. And then once it's dry, I can come in with color, with the right values, and really make this thing sing, Thank you. Let's see here. So yeah, I don't know. But So yeah, let me share with you because we're almost to 9:30, and I'm going to keep honest to the timing. And I don't want to get my sleeves involved in my paint, but I wanted to share with you what it is about the Rumble Creator Program that I'm striving for, because you've heard me talk about it. You may not understand it, but the Rumble Creator Program is a way to make more money monetary on your Rumble content than if you weren't in it. But I don't know how to quantify that because I've not done the Rumble Creator Program. I am officially in it. However, what you see on the screen is essentially what's required. And this is actually an increase from what they had previously. So you need 75 unique chatters per month. You need 5 unique raids. I've done 2, so I just need 3 more. So I'm going to try to do a raid tonight as well. So you guys start looking at the live options on Rumble that are currently going on and suggest a live that we can raid when I'm done talking here. 30 hours of studio live streams, which is using Rumble Studio to live stream for 30 hours over the month of July. 5 hours of Rumble Premium content, 500 hours of video views. That's what I was talking about earlier. I need 500 hours of viewed content of my content on my channel for the month of July. And then 20 shorts uploaded. So what does that look like currently for me? Well, my current stats as of the start of the live stream, so this is before the live stream tonight, I've had 12 unique chatters thus far. It's July 8th, so I still got most of the month to go where I can hopefully get up to 75, but that's going to depend on people sharing and coming in to Rumble and chatting. Even if it's just to drop in and say hi and then drop out, that will count. The other thing is getting other people to maybe raid my live stream, like last night before OBS crapped out. I have done 5.1 hours of live streaming so far using Rumble Studio. I have done 0.7 hours of Rumble Premium content. I'm not sure how I did that because I don't think I've hit that yet. Maybe I have, I don't know. But I've only got 0.7. I've got 47.4 hours of video views out of 500. And that's with me and Ron kind of dogging the system. I've got 2 different personal laptops, and I use one to have my Rumble content playing on mute. And that counts because it's considered viewed. I don't want to do that, but I'm too small of a channel to organically get 500 hours of viewed content. I looked at my stats prior to this, and I'm like, there's no way at this current level I'm going to hit 500, but I'm still going to try anyway, you know. And if I don't make it, I don't make it. But I'm going to give it everything I've got for the month. I'm in it to win it. So, and then 20 shorts uploaded. I've got 4 shorts uploaded. I think I can hit that. So my steepest climbs are the video views and the unique chatters. So hopefully between now and the end of the month, I've somehow managed to get viewers and chatters and things like that. So if you can think of ways to help me expand my visibility to others that would draw them in, ideas, criticisms, constructive criticisms, anything to help me get viewership and things like that, I'd be really happy to receive that advice. So, but yeah, so that is what I'm looking at. So I appreciate you guys coming to this live stream, watching, participating. If you're lurking and observing, thank you for joining and viewing. If you've not dropped into the chat and you're on Rumble, please drop in and say hi real quick and be a unique chatter on behalf of my efforts. I am working hard. This is a part-time job for me. It pays absolutely 0 right now. And so it's an uphill battle, but it's essentially, building your brand, building your business. And of course, I'm very early on, and of course, it takes time, but I could use any help available. So if you guys are ready to call it, then you guys have a good Wednesday evening, the rest of it, and the rest of the week. Have a good weekend. Stay cool, stay dry, and I'll probably have more bonus content, more impromptu live streams coming out to build up on those stats. So keep a lookout. Otherwise, I'll see you next Wednesday because I'll be here as usual on Wednesdays for sure. Yeah, so you guys have a good night. I appreciate you all. I really do. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week.